We should get started. Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today. I'm Ed, and this is
I'm Drew.
Speak louder so people can hear you, Drew.
This is Drew.
So what we're going to do, we do have an animal that we're going to show you. We're going to do a series of interviews. We get a lot of calls, emails, and then, excuse me, just when we're doing programs, people always want information on how do you get into this business, how did you get into it. Today we're going to focus on Drew, and I will tell my story, which will take several parts because it's a long story. But Drew, a little bit about yourself. You graduated from kindergarten.
Kindergarten, yeah.
And
it took a long time.
Right, first grade was a challenge,
It was.
but you got through it.
I did.
And eventually,
Got to high school. Yep. So then I went to college.
he must forget his high school years. So
Skipping through.
a lot of us can relate to that. Either we've forgotten it because, you know, my generation, we forgot a lot of 70s and 80s, early 80s. But we all behave now. But we just wants to put those days behind him. Now college, so where'd you go to school?
Yeah, so I went to Framingham State University, just in Framingham, so not too far from here. Yeah, and I majored in wildlife biology there, so I knew I wanted to work with animals, wanted to be a zookeeper. That's kind of the goal since I was younger, so went and studied that there.
And then, did you interview other places here? Or work other places?
I
before here?
did an internship at the Museum of Science before here.
Yeah.
That was the first experience I had with animals. And then, yeah, kind of right after college, professors recommended this place to me, so I reached out, showed up here to interview with Ed and Chris.
His professor must hate him. Hey, go see Ed and Chris at the Animal Adventures. There's a good career move, right? Forget about the Museum of Science. They only have millions and millions of dollars in funding. Go to Animal Adventures where they make their children work for free and then offer you lunch instead of money. So, not Chris. It was cheaper to pay him. So we fight about that with Chris. Big difference. So the Museum of Science obviously is multi-million-dollar business. They do a great job there. I know the head curator, I don't know if he's still there, Lou Stevens, great guy. But difference from working in a big place to a small place?
Yeah, it's pretty different. Just like a lot of the different rules and the restrictions that you're gonna have in different places, the different things you have to follow depending on where you're at. I'm not saying one's better than the other one, but just depending on where you are, there's gonna be.
I thought you said we're better.
It's just gonna work better or much better here.
I knew I should have interviewed him.
Yeah, bad first choice. But it really depends. So they are pretty different. It's just lots of different. It really is just the different restrictions that you're gonna follow if you are part of the AZA or if you're not part of the AZA.
So we have rules and restrictions here. Nobody follows them, and we just don't really know what they are yet. But we're gonna enforce those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the AZA, American Zoo and Aquarium Association. That's something when they founded. They spoke with me a lot in their early years. Pursued me a lot to be a member of the AZA and on the board and all that. I chose not to do it just because basically we have a lot of state and federal regulations and inspections already. And in the AZA, you actually pay them tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and sometimes millions of dollars a year to come in and inspect you. And my opinion is it's an unnecessary organization. We'll never join because they've been infiltrated by animal rights groups and things like that, and they've become, like a dirty politician in the industry. And a lot of people know it. I know people that work at AZA zoos, and they all know it. But then the shirts, as we like to call them, the board, they don't know it or don't care because of write-offs and different political favors. So. Yeah, here we still have a lot of things we have to follow. No place is more strict or unfun, is that a word, than Massachusetts to have an animal business in. But we make it work. We have a great time. What would you say your least favorite part of the job is?
I guess the obvious one's it's pretty messy, but that's not too bad. I don't know, really, there's not too much that there's to dislike. If you're doing this job, it's because you really want to be doing this job. It's a path that you have to be pretty motivated for and commit to. So yeah, if you're willing to work with animals, this is something that's a great job to do. But you're going to get a bit messy as you do it.
What about your favorite part of the job?
Favorite? I think just getting to bond with all the different animals and getting to have that connection with them. There's some like certain animals here that just hate certain people for whatever reason, and when you get to that point where maybe one of them starts to like you, it's like it's a pretty cool feeling. Makes you feel pretty awesome.
Yeah, and animals, you know, if you have house cats and stuff, birds, you know, their moods change a lot. I have 5 daughters. I like to jokingly, kind of seriously, think my daughters help prepare me as I go along the way for sudden mood changes. You know, love you one minute, hate you the next. So, you know, it is. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Is you have an animal that, for whatever reason, a lot of things are the chemicals that our body puts off. You know, the different smells that we have, and just different personalities. I believe some animals are, you know, I believe the lemurs can tell different testosterone levels, and they try to dominate different people. So it is kind of cool when an animal, you think there's no way this animal's ever going to like me, and then it's not so like that. I thought, you know, Drew has like this secret card that he filled out that I don't think I was supposed to see, but it said least part, favorite part of the job, the boss. So,
Pretty accurate.
but I think he was talking about Chris there, and then the favorite part of the job, he also said boss, so I'm assuming that's me.
Maybe Brenda.
Yeah, my wife. People definitely respect my wife a lot because, you know, she demands it. I joke too much. I think they don't take me serious. I don't joke that much, do I? So, we don't want to, you know, so if people getting into this field, your opinion, did your education help you?
Or conservation topics, having that sort of like knowing a bit about that more from school is definitely helpful. But I can also see where some people are going to learn just a lot from working at the job too. So there's a ton that I didn't learn in school that I learned just from being here.
So it could be either way. So if you, my advice, I guess, is if you love the scholastic environment, you love going to school, hey, go. I would tell you if you don't have a scholarship and you're paying for your own education, you know, you've got to really research the markets, and you know, you don't want to get out of the college go, okay, I owe $100,000 now, pay me $50 an hour, because it's probably not going to happen. So you want to be, you know, realistic and mindful of that. But you know, some people love the classroom, and so if you can swing it, I would definitely recommend it. There are a lot of good schools that help you. You know, we can give you our opinion, and we know a lot of people that come to here, different schools that have gone to, and now with online education, there are many different options. But education, unless it's going to put you in the poorhouse, is never a bad thing. We will teach you a lot here, or any good facility will teach you. You know, you should learn a lot by hands-on. You can only learn so much in the classroom. Like Drew said, it definitely helped him. You know, we do a lot of lectures. We just did one on South America, and you know, going to school really gives you a good leg up on that. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely.
So, what would be maybe one of your favorite animals here?
I think one of my favorites is probably the kinkajou. So
Yeah, you could have one.
So I'll take
The
her
cool thing
out.
about working in a non-AZA place, guess what? We can let you hold cool animals. You know, AZA, there's a cricket, there's a mop, whatever. Here, you didn't get to hold kinkadoos in the museum, right?
No.
I like the Museum of Science, I'm just saying. You're not going to get this there. This is Narnia.
This one's Narnia, yep.
Go ahead, what's your favorite? Why don't you give a couple of quick.
So Narnia, she's one of my favorites too because kinkajous, they were just an animal I hadn't heard of before starting here. But they're really, really interesting animals. They are members of the raccoon family, and they come from Central and South America. Mostly, like the rainforest areas. And they're perfectly built for the rainforest too. So they have this really long prehensile tail. You can see if I was like a tree branch, he's able to hang right from it. You can see it curl right around my finger too. And then their fur grows in both directions. So it grows kind of going down this way. So if you cut them backwards, they feel very soft. But the main importance of that is when they are in the rainforest hanging by their tail, it's going to rain a whole lot. So the water is going to run down their back, and they're not going to be fully soaked. These guys are also known as honey bears. A lot of people refer to them as honey bears because they love to eat honey. They kind of look like mini bears. when they do eat that honey, they have about a 6-inch long tongue that they will stick right into the beehive, lick up all that honey, and when they're eating it, they're kind of slobs too, so they get honey all over their face and fur. And then when they run through the forest, they end up pollinating a whole lot of flowers too, which is really super helpful for the environment. They're a very important species to have there. And one unfortunate thing for them, and something we have to be really, really mindful of when we are preparing their diet, is that kinkajous are all highly allergic to strawberries. So we have to make sure that we don't have any strawberries mixed in with their food, which can be tough since they eat a whole lot of fruit. They eat vegetables as well, but the main part of their diet is going to be a lot of fruit there. So we just, whenever we get strawberries donated from Hannaford's or anywhere else that gives us produce, we just have to sort through it first, and then the goats get a special treat typically. They get all like the stuff we don't want to give to the other animals, and they don't complain, they love it all. Yeah, but they're really are one of my favorites. They're super interesting looking, kind of like, I don't know, almost look like a little goblin. They're kind of weird looking, but they're pretty cute.
Yeah, I agree. A very fascinating animal. What about for a pet? You think it's a great pet?
I would not recommend them as a pet, no. So one thing, they are nocturnal, so they're not going to be up all day long with you. And they're very, very high maintenance. They have a lot of energy. They're going to be running around a ton when they are awake. And honestly, they're one of the grossest animals we clean up after. So they're kind of like rock, paper, scissors to who has to clean them in the morning, because they poop everywhere and they pee everywhere. So they're a messy one. But they're really cool animals. But I would say keep them in the wild or keep them in like a facility like this.
Yeah, and like from my perspective, I'm not against people owning exotic animals, but you know, and I would never say you shouldn't. They are illegal in Massachusetts where we are, but you know, they also can bite very hard. As they get older, if they're not handled right, you know, I think it's a very, very difficult
So
thing.
you might want to stay there.
I think sometimes the cuteness, you know, you don't want to impulse buy an animal, and true, you gain weight.
I think I found out earlier.
Heather wants to know, how long have you worked here, Drew?
I've been here about 1.5 years now, so I think it's going to be 2 years in July. I started volunteering in July, 1.5 years ago, and then I started working in August. So here everyone kind of starts as a volunteer, and then after, it depends how long you're here and if we have a position open, but then after the volunteer process.
Drew got fast tracked because he showed up in dress shoes and
Yeah,
a suit.
I was looking fancy.
So he was looking fancy, so we're like, you know what, he's taking this serious. Actually, we probably made fun of him, didn't we, Chris?
Oh, definitely.
Probably. We like to joke and have
This
a
is the
good
first
time
20
here.
minutes.
But yeah, so what I do as the owner is I meet with Chris and my wife, and I go over and, you know, we're always looking for the next person to replace me. Not that I'm, you know, leaving the company or anything, but any company to grow always should be, you know, grooming their replacement. And what'll happen is I'll get people that are close, and then they get better jobs, or they get married, move out of state, and things like that. And so I'm always trying to find people that I think most important will listen and not, you know, do the high risk stuff and get hurt or get an animal hurt. And Drew, for the most part, fits that bill. Leslie's really good at, you know, fooling me. I don't know. But yeah, it's just really being responsible. Any other questions out there right now, Chris?
No, bring them on.
So yeah, if there's any questions, and we'll be doing this particular program every Wednesday. Sometime it'll be me and Drew, and sometimes if I'm out of state, Drew will probably be here and have a guest there. You know, we'll keep it fresh. And any ideas you have, you know, any requests, let us know. But I just, you know, I really feel like we get a lot of questions about working here, working in other facilities, and education. So any of those questions would be awesome.
Are you looking for more volunteers?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
Especially during the week.
we're looking for more volunteers. Drew said especially during the week, and what Chris and myself and Drew are working on right now is called the Professional Volunteer Program. So we get volunteers that come in and they just kind of disappear and try to play with animals, and that's not that helpful. So we want to give people incentives. So we like to schedule our volunteers like the paid employees, because that tells us how much staff we need to have and what animals are going to be cleaned at what time. It just really helps us know who's going to be here and who can do what. So if you're looking to volunteer, you know, you come in and do an interview with Chris, or Chris and myself and Drew. some combination of us three, and then we will schedule you and see how it works out. But you will get incentives, you will learn a lot, you will get to interact with your favorite animals at some point. So you will get free passes for you and your family. So we're trying to, before just being around the animals was enough, and now it seems like people love to be around the animals, but to keep long-term volunteers, we want to do stuff that you enjoy too and give back. So we'd like to, above and beyond your education, give you some passes and things so your family and friends can come and enjoy the place as well. So we're putting together this program now. So absolutely could use more volunteers.
You enjoying that Kinkajou in your shirt?
It's interesting. There's a little face right there.
There's the face.
Yeah.
There it is.
Getting so much work done.
I would like to know, did you shower and use deodorant today? Is this Kinkajou gonna need some resuscitation?
Might have to help her out.
So,
Sorry, not me.
luckily Drew works at a pace that doesn't cause him to break a sweat, so, so the animal is fine. So you have to put up with this kind of abuse if you
Yeah.
volunteer work there, right, Drew?
It's a part of it.
But it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
They make fun of me a lot too.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody posted a picture of me with a tiger paint. Right. So, to find out who did that.
It's pretty fitting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Italian, the open shirt and the big gold chain,
Yeah.
right? But, all right, I guess if there's no more questions, we'll sign off until next week. Thanks.
Thank you.